Hello everyone, it is Toby here and we are back for the heaviest deadlift session I have done since my 270 kilo PB. Actually no, scratch that, since my 275 attempt that injured my knee initially. We are back with the heaviest session we are going to be attempting, where we are going to be going for 265 kilos for not one, but 2 reps. That is right, 2 reps with that monstrous weight, 5 kilo off of my PB, and I have a feeling that we're going to absolutely smash it. I've been having a week full of PBs this week. Sorry I haven't recorded any sessions for a little while. It's been about a week since the last video. I have actually had COVID again in that time period. Luckily, I only had it for about 24 hours. The main symptom I had was just brain fog. I just felt stupid for like a week. But as for the physical symptoms of a headache, sore throat, muscle aches, that only lasted for about a day and a half over New Year. And I got straight back to it after that. So we have done some pretty heavy stuff this week. But that is not going to stop today. We are going to be doing our heaviest deadlift session so far this year, I guess, because it is now 2024, and this is actually the first deadlift session of 2024 as well, and we're starting off with a bang of 265 kilo for a double. It's going to be immense. So as it is a heavy deadlift session, we are taking out all of the stops. I have had a huge carby dinner, lots of pasta. I had a pizza for lunch, so I am full of carbs, full of energy. I'm training after dinner, about an hour after, to let the food settle and go out, so we shouldn't be distracted by that. I've got some pre-workout, which I don't usually take, but should provide a lovely bit of caffeine and other stimulant just to, rattle me up for the deadlift PR. I reserve pre-workout for use when I'm doing something PR territory, whether it be a super heavy double, obviously a heavy single 1 rep max attempt, stuff like that is when I reserve pre-workout for, because otherwise I find if I overuse it, then it is going to be an issue. I have also got the Cerberus Strength Hades Hellfire smelling salts, and these I use very, very sparingly. I don't use them on anything really other than a deadlift. I find on a squat, because you have to be so deliberate with the squat, it actually throws me off. I have used it on a bench in the past, but again, I'm a bit wary of using it on bench, and I do find good use of it on the log, but again, only when I'm going super, super heavy. So deadlift is the main lift that I ever use it on, because I find with the deadlift, once I can get hyped, I can really drive through the floor. At the end of the day, the deadlift is more or less just picking up a big weight off the floor. So once you get that technique nailed, it is not difficult to do. So it is one of those lifts that I like to get super amped up on and really, really hype myself up. So we've got the smelling salts on standby. But what I'm going to do now is I am going to get warmed up. Very important today that I warm up properly. So I'm going to start off just doing some body weight, deep squats, get my hips opened up, make sure I have the knee cuff on the dodgy knee just to make sure I don't re-injure that bad boy. But what you're going to see is you're going to see every single set of deadlifts I do leading up to the final big top set. So without further ado, let's jump into the deadlifts. Well, there you have it, guys. Kicking off 2024 with a super heavy double that honestly felt like if I absolutely needed to, I had another rep in the tank. That's how we want to kick off this year. 3 months until my competition where I've got to do 260 for reps. And at the minute, I could probably get about 5 at 260, 4 or 5. So in 3 months when we've peaked for the reps, I'm hoping for about 7 or 8 in competition. Might be lofty expectations, but that's where I want to be. And I think that should be a really good number, honestly, considering the deadlift in the competition is a choice between a 220 pull or a 260 pull, any amount of reps at 260 beating the 220. In fact, I'm doing 260 for multiple with the lofty expectations of getting 7 or 8 will put me in pretty good position, I think. So really happy with how that felt with the 265. That is the second heaviest weight that I've actually pulled off the floor. I had a 262.5 kilo single at some point that I failed, I'm pretty sure. So to get 265 for a double, and obviously my PB being 270 still, it's mega. It's really, really good. And hopefully my warm-ups provided some insight sort of to the secrets of warming up for heavy lifting. There's not many secrets really, but there are a couple things that I want to point out, which I will do so in a minute. But yeah, hopefully seeing me using the smelling salts, getting properly hyped up, which I don't usually do on this channel. Usually a lot of my sessions I stay relatively mellow as you can be lifting heavy things. And this is one of the few times I've actually used smelling salts pre-workout. Got myself worked up a little bit to get the weight off the floor. So hopefully that's useful for you guys to see. But what I want to jump into next, sort of as the title of this video suggests, is sort of the secrets to heavy lifting, specifically heavy deadlifting, which I like to implement. And it can sort of go for any heavy lifting. It is just the important principles of warming up to that lifting and the mindset you want to be in for it. So I think that might be useful for me to chat about. But before we do go ahead and do that, I just want to say if you enjoyed those deadlifts, please leave a like down below. It helps boost this channel out. I'm just here recording my personal progress in the gym. It happens to be going very well. And I'd do this if no one watched or if a million people watched. It doesn't really matter to me. But the fact that we are growing and more people are watching what I do is really flattering. So if you did enjoy, please leave a like down below. And if you made it this far and haven't subscribed, what are you doing? Come and join on and let's see how far I could push myself. And it's always great when you guys comment telling me how far you're pushing yourself as well. It's great to see. But without further ado, let's jump into those deadlift tips and tricks. So none of this is going to be particularly groundbreaking. You've probably heard it from various other fitness sort of influencers and stuff. Not that I am one, but other people in the lifting space definitely. But in case you haven't, I think it's always useful to put across my opinions and stuff in case someone is watching my video as the first strongman or lifting content they've ever come across. I always like to repeat things that I've heard or stuff that I've heard that's useful that I use myself. So yeah, if it's stuff you've heard before, just listen to it again and I'm sure you'll appreciate it. But it's mainly for the new people who don't really know what they're doing yet. But also some of you veterans could do with a reminder sometimes. I know myself, a lot of the time I just forget certain things I used to do and then re-implement them, and it makes a hell of a difference. So at risk of waffling on loads before I actually get into anything useful, which I'm very good at doing, the first thing that I employ that you will have seen in all of those warm-up sets, which is why it was important for me this session to show you every single one of my warm-ups, is I attack every single warm-up the exact same from 70 kilo or the lightest weight I start with all the way up until my top set. So every single setup looks almost identical and I pull with the exact same speed and ferocity, bar the smelling salts, that I do my top set. And that just helps your body prepare for what you're about to do. If you go in and half-ass your lighter sets, or you go in and control them, you go in and do anything slightly different, your body sort of doesn't know what to expect, or it's preparing for a much lighter pull than you're giving it credit for. So that's why each of my sets, before they even start getting heavy, moved super rapidly, because I'm applying the same amount of power into the floor as I would my my top set. So obviously with 70 kilo, that's absolutely going to fly. And as we get closer towards 170, 220, and the top set, it slows down, but it helps you prepare your body. Half of the battle of lifting is the technique and the preparation that you do. It's all well and good having loads of muscle and being strong, but if you don't know how to activate that muscle and put it into good use, you're going to fall flat strength training. So it is the most important thing. Like, you can get the skinniest, least muscular person ever, but if they know how to apply their muscle and get it in a good way, you'll be shocked at how much they can actually lift. And you can get the strongest guys who don't know how to apply their muscle, apply their power properly, that fall short. And it's a really important factor that as you're building up to a top set, just treat every single lift as a top set. And same with your other sessions when you're not even going for a max lift. Say I'm doing my speed work, which I had last week, 190 kilos, 6 sets of 2, whatever it was. I didn't attack it as if, I'm only doing 190 kilos, I don't really need to bother. I attacked it as if every single one of those doubles was that same double I've just done there. And that is what helps your mind connect with your body and allow you to explode and put as much force into the deadlift every single time. And it becomes second nature. You don't even have to think about it. If every time you go up to a bar ready to pull, you apply the same amount of force, no matter what's loaded on the bar, you're going to give it your all. So it's a little psychological technique really to help you unlock a lot more strength than you might have done already. So that is just something, I wanted to go into it because it is really important. It's something that I find myself that I keep forgetting about, and I keep losing that. It's where I'll half-arse a warm-up, or I'll half-arse a speed work session or something, and then I'll come in next session not feeling as good. And it's just because my body's forgetting what we're trying to do here. So I think that's useful for anyone. And obviously, that is advice that doesn't just go for the deadlift, but any heavy lifting you would do. The same with a squat. You want to explode out from every single squat you do. Same with a bench. Explode off the chest every single rep you do. And then your body knows that when we are benching, when we are squatting, when we are deadlifting, we are going to be applying maximum power, because that's what you need to do in order to lift heavy. So hopefully that's a bit useful for you guys. I know it's nothing groundbreaking, and I know most of you probably already know that, but if by chance it is something you'd not heard before, or something you have heard before and have sort of let slip or forgotten about, just leave a comment down below that it has helped you, and I'll know that I should keep doing these sort of tips and tricks that I now sort of subconsciously think about doing, now that I'm about 4 years into the strongman stuff. But it's the stuff that when I was starting out, I had to learn, and if any of you are starting out and are learning from this video, it'd be fantastic to know about it. So hopefully in more videos soon I can provide similar sort of tips and tricks that will be helpful for you. But that is more than enough rambling for this video. It's probably gone on way too long for just a singular set of deadlifts really. So I'm going to move on to the rest of the session. I'm going to tell you what I'm going to be doing. Depending on how long I have actually been recording for, I don't know how much of it I'll show you, but there are plenty of other videos of me doing similar back days on my channel that you guys can go and watch. So the rest of the session today is going to be a pretty typical sort of gym bro back session, to be honest. After the heavy deadlifts, it is hard to do as heavy on accessories as you would usually do, because your CNS is just absolutely fried from pulling so heavy. But something I always do every single time I finish deadlifting is bent over rows. And if you're not bent over rowing straight after your deadlifting, why are you wasting your time? You're already unloading a barbell most of the way for a deadlift, so you may as well stop at 100 kilo or whatever, with a plate on or 2 plates on or whatever, to do some bent over rows, because you don't have to set up any more equipment. You're unloading to the weight anyway, and it's a perfect back accessory to do straight after. So every session, that is what I do. It saves a massive amount of time, and is what I like to follow deadlifts up with. So that's what we're going to do now, some bent over rows, and then we follow that up with just some single arm dumbbell rows, lat pull downs, seated cable rows, and then a bit of core at the end. So really a very gym bro-y back session, which, you know, a gym bro would go in, they do just all of those exercises really. Maybe not deadlifts, depends. Depends on what they're training for, but it's an easy sort of low effort back day. I say low effort, it's not supposed to be low effort, it's not supposed to be zero effort. There's a difference between going in and being lazy and pulling a massively heavy deadlift and then following it up with accessories that don't require too much setup, too much work, because you're already absolutely fried from pulling heavy. So don't mix up what I'm saying as laziness. It's sort of necessarily lighter, and we spent an hour and 15 minutes working up to those deadlifts. So if you're on a time crunch, a bit like I am because it's getting late, you need to do low effort, easy to set up exercises. But anyway, I'm rambling again. So I'm going to set up bent over rows, which I've got set up obviously, do some bent over rows, then single arm dumbbell rows, lat pull down, seated cable rows, all of the back accessories that I'm going to do. I'm not going to show you any of them because this video is dragging on massively, and I just really need to shut up and get going. So yeah, there's plenty of other back days on this channel. Anything with a deadlift in it I've probably done this back day recently anyway. So if you're keen to see those accessories, go and check out any of my other deadlifting videos. But as for today's video, the sole focus is, I've decided, going to be those heavy deadlifts and the secrets to pulling heavy and all of that jazz. So that is where I'm going to leave it for today probably. So I hope you did all enjoy. I know you may have come to this video wanting to see a full deadlift session, but I think also it is important to have some more focused videos surrounding single lifts or single sets of lifts with some more valid info surrounding those lifts, so people coming who want to know purely how to deadlift heavy don't get distracted watching my whole back sessions. There are other videos for that. There will be more other videos for that, but as for this specific video, I wanted to keep it focused around just that heavy deadlift. And I mean, what a heavy deadlift it was. 5 kilo off my PB, 265 for a nice and smooth double. I'm really happy with it. I'm not feeling too bad after it either. It's been about 5-10 minutes since I actually pulled it, and I'm pretty much there. So yeah, feeling really happy with that. My goal for 2024 is obviously these 2 competitions, and then I want to work towards a big pull. I've got 300 in mind, but I know that is a big ask, considering my PB is 270. A 30 kilo jump in a year at my stage of training is quite a big ask, but I believe we can get there. So yeah, it's one of those things where it just needs to be the right set of circumstances and everything needs to align. But stay tuned if you want to watch the road to 300 kilo, because it's going to be a fun one, and we will get there someday. Maybe this year, maybe next year. We will get there. So thank you guys so much for watching. I know this video has been a lot of me just talking and not a whole lot of me training. I know some of you guys prefer that, and I know some of you guys really just come to see me lifting. So I appreciate both sets of viewers. If you've stuck around this far, leave me a like down below, as I said, and also subscribe if you haven't already to catch more videos like this one, and also more videos just surrounding my training and less of me talking. So thank you guys once again so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed seeing me pull some massive fucking weights, and I'll see you in the next one.